All right, the heat is real, and today on Locker Room is gonna get tough and interesting because there's load of action. We're gonna be looking forward to on the show this lovely afternoon. I think maybe today might be the one final day I'm going to talk about Victor Osimhen's issue because now it's getting more interesting, and it looks like the episode is going to continue on and on. Antonio Conte isn't holding back, and Didier Drogba is in the line of fire. In a scorching interview with the Italian media, the Napoli boss slammed Drogba's public defense of Victor Osimhen, calling it a big insult and even threatening to report the Chelsea legend to FIFA. And Conte says that Drogba has no respect, calls Osimhen, yes, you heard it, he calls Victor Osimhen ungrateful and fires a final warning. And he said this is, of course, this is the last time he will tolerate interference with tempers flaring and egos colliding. And on that note, I say, welcome to another beautiful edition of the Locker Room on Voice of the People Television. My name is Jerry Alpelehoy, reporting for footballing duties on the show this lovely afternoon. The usual suspect joins me, Ikechukwu and Bayowa, joining us virtually. We're taking a look at this and more on this very interesting and epic historic episode of the Locker Room. Ikechukwu, it's great to have you. You know, we'll be talking about Victor Osimhen's issues right from when he made the loan move to Galatasaray, when eventually the deal ended, the loan deal ended. There was talk about where he's going to move next, and it looks like he has eventually made the move to Galatasaray, but it looks like it's not ending there. Drogba has come out guns blazing, and Ancelotti has released the bombshell. Things we didn't even really know are beginning to come out. Okay, Ikechukwu, it's great to have joined us again once again on Locker Room.
Good evening, Jerry, and good evening to our viewers. It's another wonderful day to be here. And Victor Osimhen's story, I don't think we're going to come out of it anytime soon, because the fact that he's still playing, a lot of persons will still feel he owe them, especially people in the city of Naples, and that's exactly why Antonio Conte, who is the manager of that side now, has come out to actually say this. Of course, talking about himself, Drogba. Of course, Drogba is also a very big fan of Victor Osimhen.
Yes, we saw how African brother.
Yes, we saw how he actually, was very well around him during the last AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, especially after our first game against Cote d'Ivoire in the group stage. So it's an interesting time to be a football lover, and also there's a lot of lessons that's going to be learned at the end of the day, because young players coming aboard will definitely get to know that yes, it's not just about talent. It comes with a lot of things off the field, especially attitude and how you actually interpersonal relationship with people, and that's exactly why Antonio Conte is a little furious. But it's a good day to be here to talk football, Jerry.
All right, of course, Maiwa joins us virtually, and congratulations to Man United. Okay, Maiwa is not in. I was going to congratulate you, former Man United fan who's not a Chelsea fan this season. You guys have won a trophy. Your former club has won a trophy. Congratulations to them. I hope. I don't know where trophies are going to come. Maybe this might be the only trophy for them as far as this season is concerned. But it's worthy of celebration. It's been a long while. They've waited for it. Anyway, let's talk about the home-based Super Eagles. Definitely we'll get to the Osimhen saga because a lot need to be said. But home-based Super Eagles captain, talking about Junior Nduka, has expressed the team's ambition to win the 2024 African Nations Championship and replicate the recent success of Nigerian female teams. Speaking in Zanzibar ahead of their group clash with Senegal, Nduka said the squad is motivated by the Super Falcons' WAFCON triumph and the Tigers' fifth consecutive Afro-basket title. Okay, this will be the first time if they are going to win it. But it's not about talk. Talk is cheap. The Super Eagles team B has tried various times, even when they had a better team to win the chance, they could not win it. And now that the president is in a good mood of sharing $100,000, you don't need any better motivation. If you cannot win it, it's your cup of tea. This is an opportunity for these boys to shine for themselves and make $100,000, 10 million, even
Land,
bedroom flat, national honors. This is the best time to be successful because the president is in a good mood. So it's left to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite interesting to actually see him actually looking up to, emulating what the ladies have done in football. It's a good time to actually see that. Of course, after the Falcons actually did what they did, we saw the Tigers actually did theirs over the weekend, and now we are actually looking at these guys going to the tournament, feeling motivated. And I mean, $100,000 for players playing in the Nigerian league, you know what that means. You know how far it's going to go. A good number of them may not even get to see that kind of money all their life, playing in the Nigerian league. So it says a lot about just getting that bag once and for all. Getting that amount of money is also going to actually be a sort of motivation for the players playing in our league. Hopefully they can also fancy themselves going all the way to actually win the CAF Champions League. It's a good one to actually see that. But of course, I don't want to look at the downside of all of this, because the president has decided not to. People who run our football decided not to even develop it. Just go out there, do the best. Unfortunately, in this tournament, you cannot actually rely on foreign-born Nigerians. So definitely, we have to make do what we have. This is the 8th edition of the tournament. Nigeria is here to actually win it. And we are going to actually play. We are playing against the defending champion in Senegal. They actually won the last edition. Morocco has won it twice. Democratic Republic of Congo has also won it twice. So you talked about when we had a better team. I think at that time when the big boss actually led the guys to that particular championship, we had big characters in our league that have integrated themselves fully into the main Super Eagles team. With like of Egweke, likes of Azubike, Nzuronye, the diminutive player from Rangers at the points, and also other the likes of I think Godfrey Obabona. Did he actually make it to that championship? No, he didn't. But of course, he actually played in Nations Cup in 2013 for that tournament. So we had a lot of players who the big boss have already given opportunity at one point in time to actually be part of the Super Eagles. So they were already known going to that particular. But I think the team itself, what we have here at this point, I think we have something that we can really rely on. Plus the fact that we have a good manager, two good managers who have actually won the league back to back, taking this ball. So I believe they can actually. I want to even see them replicate it so that they can also get their own $100,000.
I don't need to tell them what to do. They know what to do. Win your games, win the championship, then definitely we'll call on the president to do the honors. I've given them their honors and the $100,000. Some people came for me yesterday saying they will stop watching us because I said that $100,000 will be too much for the Tigers. Hands up. The president has given to them. I support the president fully, and I'm also in the support that if the Chan Eagles win it, they should also be giving.
Since we decided not to develop our
that is the standard.
Let's give them money.
Let's give them money.
That's my own. Give them money.
Meanwhile,
$100,000, they should share it.
Meanwhile, talking about the coach of the side, Eric Chell, has downplayed any suggestions that the game is a derby, despite both nations being football powerhouses in Africa. Talking about the game against Senegal, and Chell acknowledged the Senegal's quality, describing them as a team with a strong generation of players and a solid structure. And speaking during the pre-match press conference, Chell emphasized that his focus is solely on the Senegal match and not on other Group D opponents like Congo and Sudan. He stressed the importance of taking the tournament one game at a time. That's the right mentality. And Maiwa is joining us virtually eventually. I know you went to secure the trophy. I hope you've seen the Man United trophy, and of course, you are salivating already.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. No matter what they are doing, what matters is what they do when the league season starts. That's what really matters. Whatever they are doing now, it won't really count if at the end of the day they end up finishing 16th, 17th. But in any case, a lot of football to talk about. The $100,000 controversy is still in play. I hope since we have started with $100,000, we give everybody $100,000. And now our Chan Eagles they do so well against the Senegalese. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to what Excel and the boys will be able to do much later this evening.
All right, we'll wait to see what they will do for us eventually. Talking about the boys. The Chan EM team. All right, let's get to the big conversation where former England striker Gary Lineker has revealed that several top European clubs, including Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, and PSG, put out of signing Victor Osimhen despite their strong interest. Lineker praised the Nigerian forward's talent, especially recalling his stellar performance for Napoli and earlier displays against Leicester City in the Europa League. Speaking on his podcast, Lineker said there may have been concerns about Osimhen's character, citing claims that he occasionally goes missing for a few days, raising questions among top clubs. However, emphasized that these rumors were unconfirmed and based on insider whispers from agents and club sources. Ultimately, the hesitation from Europe's elite allowed the Turkish side Galatasaray to sign the 26-year-old for 75 million euros, and the club officially unveiled Osimhen, and of course they say the rest is history. Definitely a lot of information flies, definitely. No matter what you think you're doing, mostly when you're in the limelight, you need to be very careful. A lot of people are watching you, seeing you, your antecedent will speak for you. Even without him saying about him missing for days, though this is a new information, as far as that one is concerned, talking about indiscipline outside within your club side is definitely not going to be tolerated. Definitely information will fly. And the issues with the agent, changing agent, definitely the issue with his national team coach. And I was wondering why the club side were just somehow within the administrative block of Napoli. It seems like everybody was against Osimhen somehow. So you begin to ask questions, why? What is it about Osimhen that Napoli is holding on to? So there are a lot of things we don't really know. So maybe the club side, nobody is saying anything, but with Lineker coming out of this, definitely he's also a big fish when it comes to within, because as an ex-footballer, he will be privy to a lot of other information.
True. You know, when you go watch a live show on stage, you notice that either a comedian or the public speaker, whoever it is, the person is always placed on the spot, and then there's this light beaming on that person, right? And that person is most likely not going to be able to see anyone in the crowd, but everyone in the crowd will be, looking at that person. That's exactly, what it means to be on the spotlight. That's exactly what it means for you to be where, you are so important to people, because people want to either see you for what you're actually bringing on the table. And when you're actually in that position, there's little or no margin for error, right? Especially when your talent is so good. So when you come into that sort of space, you are there to actually be professional at all times. Now, remember when this Osimhen issue really started about how Napoli was actually acting, in a certain way, De Laurentiis is doing this and he's doing that. One of the things that came up was that, some of the agents are beginning to have conversations. And of course, these agents have their own group where they actually talk about players. Okay, this player is actually moving from here to here. Tell me about these players. Just the same way we have, in corporate world, where you're actually moving from one company to another. There's this circle of HR. There's this group, league of people who, they need a recommendation from where you're coming from to say, okay, this person is not going to be a dent to our image. These are the sort of things that, because they understand that outside having the talent, there are a lot of persons who can actually do what you can do. Even though they might not be able to do it at the level you're doing it, but they'll do it very close. Now, they're actually looking at, are you going to be much of a problem to them? Because the world has seen too many Eric Cantona, we've seen too many Maradona, we've seen too many Mario Balotelli. We don't want to see those sort of, because now you're not just making people happy. You're also a model to the next generation of players coming on. Yeah. One of the things that made the likes of Ronaldinho and co, why they got exiled from Barcelona was because they saw them as a bad influence on Lionel Messi when he was actually growing. And they had to actually ask them, and that was one of the first projects that Pep Guardiola was handed to. You have to take out these big boys from this team. Because Ronaldinho is so good, but he doesn't really like to train. So when you have this sort of attitude, especially from a part of the world where you're in fact, naturally, if you have the talent and you're from Africa, you're seen as less. So you don't just have, the talent should not just be enough for you now. Nobody needs to tell you, because you know where you're coming from. Now he moved into that space, and then he became, a real superstar. One of the first things he should have put in check was his character as a player. Now, outside that, what actually what actually made Osimhen's case even worse? People may not want to accept it a lot, especially those who actually pushes his personality on X. They may not want to agree, but one of the things that made Osimhen's case worse is the Finidi saga. As little as you think that is,
it goes a long way.
Finidi is a Champions League winner. Yeah. Finidi played
among top footballers
across Europe.
It was the best 7 at the time.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when you do that to a player of that level and a national team coach, it says a lot about your character. And then
On Instagram Live.
Yes, and people who have been following you, who have been saying things on that ground about you, say this guy doesn't really have a good character. They've reported you to that person, and then that video surface. The question of Shebi, I tell you, you don't see him.
I even want the agents.
So that agent. So these things now piled up. Now clubs will start being skeptical. The first question they'll ask is, what is his image value? What is he even bringing as per the endorsement he's got with big brands?
Yeah, big brands.
They'll ask the question. If you don't have those things, then they'll start looking at, okay, are we going to deal with his character? Mbappe, for all you care, you might want to say Mbappe is destroy dressing room, but you cannot take away the image Mbappe has already.
Yeah.
So these are the difference.
He was professional with his work.
Exactly. So what this is what we're saying. We were clamoring for Osimhen to just take a pay cut, because many of those clubs would have taken the risk of bringing him in if he's willing to take a pay cut. Chelsea would have accepted him, bring him in. Let's see how you're going to actually, let's refurbish your image. Let's start afresh. But he isn't actually willing to do that, and of course he chose to go to Galatasaray. So
we're just even talking about Lineker's part. But Mayowa, taking a look at this issue broadly, we talked about underlining issues with his character. We kept on emphasizing on it, and I even had some of my colleagues in the industry who came after me, saying that just trying to make a mole out of the whole thing. But I just stood my ground and took the issues as they come, not to say what I don't really know, not to flog what I've not heard, what I've not seen, what people have not said, so that I will not be quoted. Of course, I've had a history with how he handled issues when he's at fault, instead of apologizing or backtracking and taking correction. Okay, and now this is coming out there. Coming from Gary Lineker, yeah.
Well, I would start out with something. You said something, and it's really, struck home. I would share one experience from the corporate world. About 3 or 4 years ago, I was part of a recruitment process to bring in a finance director for a top company. We had about 2 candidates that were vying for that particular job. They were very good, and out of those 2, at the point of bringing in for that kind of role, you want to talk to various people. And if you are holding a finance director role, definitely you'll be interacting with top people. I tried to reach out to one of the HR directors of one of the previous company of one of the candidates. The kind of recommendation I got, even as much as the guy was good enough, we knew we were never going to bring the guy in because he was going to scatter everywhere. He's very good, but the character is horrible. He was going to upset everything in the company. And that was it. And that was how the guy lost the job. He didn't know he performed well at the interview, but he didn't get the job because of the character. Let's now relate that to Victor Osimhen. We were one of the few people. We even had, I think, Jerry, you might have read the comment out of one of our shows here, where somebody was attacking us that we probably hate Osimhen and the rest of that when the saga of Finidi George happened. We were one of the first people that called it out that this character will definitely affect his progress. And how many months after? 8-9 months after, look at the result. The bottom line is this: what Osimhen did to Finidi George was bringing his bad character to the whole world to see. He did not do it in a private room where it was a hearsay. He did it in front of the whole world for Instagram like. And there were a lot of people that were watching his image, and they didn't advise him properly. Look at it now. After 9 months, it's hurting him. Nobody will touch him with a foot pole, and that's the reason why he's having a whole lot of issues. We continue to say it. No matter what you do, some good player, fantastic player on the field, apologize to Finidi George. He has not. And that shows some kind of arrogance. That shows that even when he's wrong, he doesn't admit. It's a fantastic, terrible. When the issue started, we said Osimhen needs a proper PR team. Do that? No. when the issue of club or no club started, we mentioned it again. Osimhen needed a proper agent, a top agent that can speak for him where he's not there, a proper agent that will help him launder his image in conjunction with PR. Did he do that? No, he did not. Where is Osimhen playing right now? Osimhen will be lacing his boot in Galatasaray next season. It shows how far your character will go. And also, let's also remember, he's coming from Africa. In as much as we don't want to cry about racism or whatever it is, the moment you are from Africa, you are already starting the game with one go ahead. They are already leading you with one go ahead. You need to do much more better to be able to catch up. You are not the one that you will found, unworthy in character, and that is what Osimhen has done. I hope this will serve as a lesson for other younger talent, for other younger players. Your character sometimes would make or mar you. Osimhen's character put him in Galatasaray, and just so unfortunate.
All right, it's just so unfortunate, but definitely it gets more interesting for our viewers because Antonio Conte has come out fiercely. He has responded to Didier Drogba's recent remarks, calling the Chelsea legend's advice for people to ignore him a big insult. Conte insisted that Drogba has no involvement in the ongoing issues and warned that any further public comments could lead to him reporting Drogba to FIFA, potentially resulting in a ban. He labeled Drogba's interference as disrespectful and out of place. Conte also reignited criticism of Victor Osimhen, saying he stands by his statement calling the Nigerian striker ungrateful. And according to Conte, Napoli invested heavily in Osimhen's development, supported his family, and provided him with a home, only for the player to leave over financial disagreements. Okay? He expressed disappointment that Osimhen forgot the loyalty shown to him. Addressing African footballers generally, Conte claimed that some don't know when to stay out of matters that doesn't concern them. He issued a final warning to Drogba and maintained that he won't be silenced by anyone regardless of their status in the football world. Conte played football at the highest level too.
Very well.
And he has coached at the highest level. And of course, if he's demanding respect, he deserves it.
Absolutely.
And for Drogba, definitely he has played football at the highest level as well. They say respect is reciprocal. Sometime last month, Conte made moves to settle the issues between Osimhen and the club side because he felt it was becoming too much. He even was planning to induct Drogba back into the team.
Osimhen?
Yeah. So Osimhen, I beg your pardon, back into the team. He made moves because he felt it was becoming too much. But Osimhen refused, saying that there's no going back. He has already made up his mind. He's going to leave. And this financial disagreement, that means the club side will also make him move to tie him to a new contract. And he said he has also seen enough. Meaning that Laurentiis was only playing hardball because Osimhen was also playing hardball. But yes, the relationship ended badly. But all of these revelations, what does this say about the whole situation? More and more.
Okay, so basically, there will always be, interested parties.
Yes.
And for Drogba is actually speaking from a place of a fan. He's a fan of Victor Osimhen.
Yeah.
And also
African brother.
He played for Chelsea. He wished Victor Osimhen would have moved to Chelsea. He's also played for Galatasaray. You're also aware of that. Yeah. And Victor Osimhen has also moved to Galatasaray. And for Drogba, it's case of, somebody needs to really stand up for, for this guy. Because, he's our brother. We need to actually speak out. Now Conte, if you follow Conte's career trajectory, he's one of those hot-headed players. And there's something, about life. Two hot-headed personality cannot be in a room. One needs to go cold, right? And Victor Osimhen has shown that he's hot-headed. Antonio Conte is also hot-headed. So if Victor Osimhen since Victor Osimhen has refused to actually listen to him, it's going to make him feel a certain way, because people who are hot-headed naturally have this very large ego. They feel once they step into a ring, that space should actually respect them. They feel Victor Osimhen, he was unable to command Victor Osimhen's respect, and that's where his problem with Victor Osimhen actually really started, And for Didier Drogba, it's another player who, he's always been a mafia. If you remember the Jose Mourinho second time, he himself, Fabregas, John Terry. These are the guys that actually plot against Jose Mourinho to actually leave because they felt, you know what, we're not comfortable with you again, right? Including Eden Hazard. So this he is very much you know, he understands the system. He knows how the relationship between a player and a club side and a player and a coach can actually go sour, and you know the politics that is involved in, you know, in the sport outside what the talent brings, and that's exactly why he's actually speaking up for Victor Osimhen. But I think Drogba, you know, he's just speaking up from the surface. He just wants, you know, Victor Osimhen to be left alone. But this is what I think about Drogba's comment. I think it's rather too late. It's already done. Victor Osimhen has already moved on. So I don't think there's any reason why he should keep flogging this issue. If it were to be the case where, you know, the matter is still very much, you know, about deciding where this guy wants to go to, and then he's speaking up at this point, then we can understand that, okay, yes, it's actually he wants a resolution for this guy to actually, you know, move his career. But at this point, it's rather too late for him to come out to start, you know, having issues with Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte is actually not the one who decided Victor Osimhen's fate, right? It's between Victor Osimhen and the club. And he has chosen, you know, Galatasaray because, of course, they are the only one that were able to actually match up his bill. Again, this goes back to the question of, you know, Osimhen's character and, you know, what he places in front. A player whose career trajectory has been, you know, facing, that is going through a certain level of, you know, topsy-turvy case, needs to really understand that money should be the last thing you should be thinking. Napoli actually wants you. So if Antonio Conte is saying that it's because of money, the issue with Victor Osimhen is because of money, why can't Victor Osimhen decide, say, okay, I'm not going to play for Napoli again, let me move to the Premier League, let me move to Chelsea. Chelsea is willing to actually, you know, bring me in. I'm going to actually take a pay cut. Let me move to Chelsea. Let me start afresh again. If Victor Osimhen had moved to Chelsea or any, you know, top Premier League club side, his profile as a player, right, would have skyrocketed. But now that he's moved to Galatasaray, trust me, Victor Osimhen needs to do better than what he did last season in Galatasaray for him to remain relevant. That's exactly how terrible his situation is at this point. If he does the same thing, nobody's going to be paying attention. Nobody's going to be looking at him. So you see how terrible his situation is. But if he had gone to Chelsea and scored just 20 league goals, just 20, less than what he did in Napoli or in Galatasaray, that would have been a very, very big statement from him. So these are the calculations that I was expecting him to actually make. But then, unfortunately, you know, like they say, it seems like the only advice he listens to is his own advice. And this is where we are. I just hope, you know, he's got the very best moving forward in his career.
All right. Mayowa, Drogba versus Antonio Conte over Osimhen's situation.
Well, first of all, I think Antonio Conte is wrong. Why are you warning Drogba that you will report him to FIFA? You should stay out of your business. Drogba is in the space of making comments about things. It should not be the first time. Why didn't Africa report Jamie Carragher when he said Nations Cup is worth nothing? I think Antonio Conte is too emotional, and that is just it. There's no point trying to threaten Drogba, and there's no point trying to shut Drogba up. Drogba has every right to speak. However, like Kechuku said, you know, the matter is done and dusted. There's no point flogging a dead horse. That's number one. Number two, I think Antonio Conte is being economical with the truth. And let's break it down and let's follow facts. When he arrived, he practically said Victor Osimhen was not in his plans. That was what triggered Osimhen to start looking for where he was going to play. We even made a joke about Osimhen setting up ring light and making YouTube videos because of how he behaved to Finidi George. Yes, the two personalities are very strong, and you know it might not have worked out. But Antonio Conte coming out to say Osimhen left because of money, I don't think there's any truth in that. Osimhen still had the contract running, and Antonio Conte came and he said Osimhen is not in his plans. That's number two. Number three, the same Napoli that is coming out to say, you know, Osimhen left, and I'm not trying to defend Osimhen. Osimhen has his own fault. He has his own character flaws, which, you know, we've already highlighted. Number three, the same club, they racially abused Victor Osimhen. They never gave him any sincere apology for that. Do you expect a Victor Osimhen to stay in that particular club? I mean, a whole lot of Nigerians jumped on that particular issue, and even a whole lot of, you know, top pundits jumped on this particular issue and said Victor Osimhen should find his way out of Napoli because of how they have treated him. The person that won the Scudetto for you, you treated him as if it doesn't matter. You even racially abused him, and you expect Osimhen to stay. The bottom line is this: I think Antonio Conte and De Laurentiis, they have been economical with the truth, and that is the reason for that. If Osimhen wanted to live for money, if actually, yes, I understand that, the clubs, the other clubs he wanted to go, he doesn't want to collect, a pay cut, which is understandable. If it was because of money, why are they reluctant to sell him? Why are they putting, damaging clauses, holding on to the damaging clauses in the contract? Do you understand? So I think Antonio Conte and De Laurentiis coming out to say he left because of money was a lie. A whole lot of things had already gone wrong before Osimhen finally departed. And I think Antonio Conte and De Laurentiis, to be honest, for once, Osimhen is no longer part of them. There is no reason why to continue to damage the image of Osimhen in as much as he has his own character flaw. I think Antonio Conte and De Laurentiis, they should let Osimhen be, because what they are saying right now, there is no truth to it if you follow the sequence of things.
All right, definitely, it's quite interesting as far as the Osimhen saga continues, and we just hope that eventually a lot of other players who are coming up will surely learn from this episode and situation. And of course, I would not want to say more and more, because anything I say you do will be used against me by Osimhen's fans. And of course, but it is what it is. I will let posterity to judge. I will only state the case before me. I will no longer go into the things I know on my own. Just leave it and hope that posterity will judge the situation. He isn't Galatasaray. I wish him all the best, but he should be in a better place than Galatasaray. He's too big
Definitely.
to be. His brand would have been bigger than this. He should be contesting in Real Madrid and Barcelona's of this world. He should be contesting for Champions League titles. But it is what it is, and he might not even play in the World Cup with the way the Super Eagles is going. And that means we'll have a Victor Osimhen who will not play at the biggest stage, which is the World Cup, and play in the biggest clubs, because Napoli is not the biggest club in Italy. Or Galatasaray, okay? Galatasaray is the biggest club in Turkey. But what's the Turkey's coefficient? You like he scores 100 goals. In the question for the Pichichi, he will not be there. And the question of winning the Ballon d'Or, except Galatasaray wins the Champions League, and the odds of Galatasaray winning the Champions League are 1,000 to 1. So I wish him all the best anyway. It's a pure reality, no matter how funny it is. But anyway, let's go to Ademola Lookman. He has cleared out his locker room. Okay, his locker. Okay, in the locker room.
Yeah.
At Atlanta's Zigonia training ground amid rising tensions with the club. And he's 27. The forward has officially submitted a transfer request in a bid to force a move to Inter Milan during the current transfer window. And over the weekend, Lookman released a statement on Instagram accusing Atlanta of breaking promises and treating him poorly, both professionally and personally. While Atlanta CEO Luca Percassi acknowledged an informal agreement for his departure, he stressed that the club is unwilling to sell. Is unwilling. Not like there's a contract that says so. Because I even had a clash with a colleague of mine on X today. We spoke on the DM anyway. Concerning this issue, he was saying that if there's a contract that says, why did he sign? But now it's even more clear that he did not sign. It's just they have an agreement that he can leave. So they are now saying, we own the contract. We will decide who we will sell to. So it's now the word of him against Percassi, the CEO who feels he's not going to sell it to another Syrian side, complicating a potential move to Inter. So Lookman will now have to look for a club side outside of the Italian Serie A.
Jerry, we need to understand that in law there's a room for verbal agreement too.
Yes.
Right. So if they really have that sort of agreement, then of course it's binding. So whether we like it or not,
the club side says it's not binding. We spoke doesn't mean that
that's verbal agreement. If they spoke and Osimhen, what's his name, Ademola Lookman agrees, that's verbal agreement and it's binding. So the thing is, I think at this point, right, Ademola Lookman has really conducted himself professionally, and I think his case is going to be easier to actually resolve than that of Victor Osimhen, which for as far as I'm concerned, that is already done.
The Correct an example, he had to push.
So now it's left for Ademola Lookman and his lawyers and his agent to sit down and look for the the way around it to actually break, whatever it is. I mean, he's accusing Atlanta of breaking an agreement already. So if Atlanta is breaching, then definitely he should be able to sue. If he claims they actually breach it. That's the thing.
It's difficult for him to sue.
No, it shouldn't be.
They decided to keep him and waste his
Jerry,
time.
that's the point. You say there's no agreement, and he's saying they breached an agreement. Ademola Lookman is saying they breached an agreement. They broke a promise, so he can actually sue, right? And approach the matter legally, and within
Not signed. They didn't sign. They just said no problem.
But then it's not illegal.
You made a mistake staying over at last season. Last season, this is when you should have started making his move. He has already won the Europa League. What else was he going to win?
This is one of the biggest problems Africans make, right? We feel so when we are very comfortable in a space, we stop thinking about moving forward. Naturally, we are so always.
This is not particularly African players. No. Harry Kane made the same mistake too with Tottenham. The season he went to Champions League final, I expected that would have been the best chance to say, okay, I've done my best for Tottenham, let me leave.
No, Harry Kane's deal for Tottenham.
He waited too long.
No, Jerry, Harry Kane's deal for Tottenham is this. Yeah. If any team is coming for you, that team should be in the Champions League in England. And this is the amount, £100 million. And how many of those clubs in the top 4 can actually afford to?
Man City showed interest at the point. But he decided to stay and renew his contract.
Which
Man City was showing interest. They
wanted to pay 100 million.
To get Harry Kane at the time. Harry Kane chose to stay. Harry Kane chose to stay. No, even I think we will talk about Manchester United.
Because I remember the season Man City showed interest on Harry Kane. It was I think it was the reason the season they went after Ronaldo. The rumor about returning.
That was it. They went for Grealish. Yeah,
Daniel Levy said he was not selling. Daniel Levy said he was not selling.
And Harry Kane didn't make a move. He said he was not.
And that's the reason why he stayed.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this, right? When you see African players, naturally, we have this big problem. Naturally, it's most times African players. See, the case of a club not wanting to sell and you renew your contract when you feel you're comfortable, it's two different things, right? African players most times when they've done something with a club that is at a let's say a middle table club that they've helped to actually inspire that club to the top, they most times want to just stay relaxed, right? Where the rest of their colleagues will be making moves to other top clubs across Europe, you see them they'll just stay put, and that's one of the biggest problems we've had. So now for Ademola Lookman, I think this is going to be a legal issue, and I think at this point, since he is claiming that they've broken the promise, let him just take this case up legally and let them sort it out. Because the more it lingers, it's going to affect his own career as a player. If you clear your locker, if the club is not clearing you to leave the club, you are not leaving.
Yeah.
So it's not just about you clearing your locker. It's about leaving the club formally and in the right way. You just clear your locker, go home. How is that going to hurt the club?
Anyway, Maiwa, we've seen even Gyökeres went through the same situation. He had to force it. So even Isak is going through the same situation.
Gyökeres even had to pay. Gyökeres even have to, he was willing to actually take pay cut to join Arsenal.
His agent had to
the case of Ademola Lookman is not even about taking pay cut now. It's about the club saying they are not willing to sell to an Italian side. That's the problem. It's not about the money now. The money is not the problem with Ademola Lookman.
Mario, yeah, it's pretty difficult situation for Lookman to find himself.
First of all, clear is this. What does Ademola Lookman's contract say? If Ademola Lookman put pen to paper and inside the clause, inside the contract, it states we are not going to sell you to any of our rivals in the Italian Serie A, then Ademola Lookman is bound by that. That's number one. Number two, he talked about breaking the engagement agreement. I know last season he wanted to leave and they said he should wait for one more season. It was news all over. However, if it is not put on, ink and paper, I don't think it's binding because, if you go to court, you will need to provide the proof that, this actually happened. If there is no recording or there's no ink to paper, it's just mere talk. And if the contract that Ademola Lookman signs already stated that he can't move from, Atlanta will never sell him to a rival, then he's bound by the terms of that contract to play it out. However, if Ademola Lookman feels he has a case, if the clause is not in the contract, then Ademola Lookman has every right to go to court of arbitration. But I'm suspecting something. The reason why this has lingered on for a very long time is probably there is a clause in Ademola Lookman's contract that says, they will sell him to a rival club. And that's the reason for that. Ademola Lookman might be angry for all he wants, but the fact is, the moment you sign the contract, you are bound by terms of the contract. We should also not lose sight of how Ademola Lookman made it to Atlanta. He was surplus to requirement at Fulham after that failed Penanka penalty, and Atlanta came to the rescue. I will not be surprised if we begin to review Ademola Lookman's contract. There are a whole lot of ridiculous things that are there, but Ademola Lookman signed because another, in quotes now, big club is taking a chance on him. What our advice Ademola Lookman is this: if the contract actually says that there's no point clearing out his locker for whatever reason, he should continue to play, because if he decides he doesn't want to play, his stock continues to fall, and the club is ready to waste his time. After the contract expires, no top club will be looking at him. And as I understand, I think he has another 1 or 2 years left on the contract. So there is no point clearing out the locker, as it seems Atlanta will not allow him to go, provided he has put pen to paper. If not, I would have expected that he would have taken them to the court of arbitration and this would have been resolved. But I suspect that there's a clause in his contract that is holding him. It goes back to what we have been saying before, where before you sign anything, make sure you are not overexcited, you are not too excited, to read through the fine lines before signing, because the moment you sign, you are bound to abide by the terms of the contract, and that's the reason why Ademola Lookman is having difficulty leaving Atlanta at the moment.
All right, it is what it is, and it's quite a precarious situation for any player to find themselves, and the contract definitely is mostly a very important issue in terms of what you sign and what you agree to. Yeah, don't in the heat of excitement forget that. But I think the agents too need to know that the responsibility is to protect their players and foresee any unforeseen circumstances, because the player is not an expert in contract situations. That is why you are hiring an agent to represent you and go through the details of your contract to make sure you're well protected before signing.
But the truth
Jerry,
is, even if they go through the contract.
Jerry, let's ask a simple question. Who is the agent of Ademola Lookman?
I definitely will have to find out his name.
No, it's not.
Can they afford
it's not even about.
Who are the agents?
It's not even about who the agent is now at this point.
The agent matters also.
No.
The agent matters also, because
if he's a hungry agent, he will just say sign.
No.
The
agent will go through the contract.
He goes to agent.
Jerry,
if you go and sign the hungry agent, he will just, because of his 10%, he will say sign.
Jerry,
even though when they say they are going to kill you.
Jerry, the truth is this.
Yes.
An agent will go through it.
Mm-hmm.
After going through it, the agent will have a discussion with you.
Okay.
True.
Yes.
True.
So it is now left for you if you agree with the terms of that contract. The agent will not go through the contract and just tell you to sign.
Oh my God! See, don't pray you not fall into a situation. Pray you will not fall into any situation like this.
There are some agents that have the connection that immediately they are reading through it, they will even tell you this is not right. I will fix this with them. I mean, if you are dealing with a
agent that has your interest,
all those top agents, they have the connection to change terms of contract.
Most
especially if the agent has your well-being at heart, and if the agent is qualified enough. Let's pray we will not fall into a situation. I've seen situations where agents will be representing you. They don't even know purely their job to go through the details of the contract. I'm telling you.
No.
Even the players you are talking about, most of these players are not educated enough.
No, they don't have to read it. The question of I'm talking about those that are not educated though.
Yes.
They don't have to read it. They're not educated enough to read. They're not lettered.
Okay.
Well, I'm talking about the ones who can actually read. they will go through it themselves and they'll have a conversation with you. I mean,
these players don't go
through. You remember?
Most of the players don't go through.
Many of these players, yes, because they build trust over the years.
Yes, over the agents.
But
the agents should know what to do.
But the thing is
that is working with club.
But the thing is
that is working with club to make money.
Yes, but the thing is this, right, Jerry? If the agents go through that particular document, you as a player, you also have to go through the document.
And the players,
it's just like your lawyer giving you a document to sign, and you don't go through it.
The players don't go through. I'm telling you.
No, Jerry.
They will just go through the major details. See, let me tell you, the major places they go to is the money, the amount,
money,
the percentage, and so even if the percentage is okay, the money is okay, every other thing. Let's sign. If the figures are correct in their brains, they will sign. Whether there's a clause that you will not release me to this, they will not even check. That's the truth. The excitement to sign will be there. The urge, money is coming. Let's make this possible faster.
But this thing that is going on in Italy is going to put Nigerian players in a very bad spot.
Yeah. I think players should take the time to spend the money to understand contract law.
All right.
It is very, very important to do that.
All right, Maiwa, we have to go. Big thanks, Maiwa. Big thanks, Ikechu, for being awesome on the show. We'll see your comments on YouTube, and those who watch us on LCL TV also appreciate you as well. Big thanks as well to the guys behind the scene, talking about Light of Shogun. Jeremiah, we see you, as well as Sam, not even at Hassan. My name is Jerry Apelohai, and up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. Until then, stay safe, and if not to anything at all, do it the sports way.